Okay. Ion notes. Um, so last time, I think we went over the basics of how to write Lewis dot structures for several of the families of elements that we've discussed. The Lewis dot structures basically are drawings of the atoms with the valence electrons included. So, for instance, let me get my periodic table here. If we wanted to draw the Lewis dot structure, for instance, for nitrogen, it might help you to have your periodic tables out as well. Nitrogen is the third one over here, so its atomic symbol is N. And let's see, this is group 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and nitrogen is in the nitrogen group, that's the family name, and it's in group 5A. So because it's in 5A, that means that all the elements in group 5A have 5 electrons in their outer level, in their outer shell. 2 electrons can go in the first energy level. So we know, and nitrogen, its atomic symbol is 7, or its atomic number is 7. So we know that it has 2 in the first level, and how many in the second? Well, if it has 2 here, it must have 5 more to get to 7. And so in the outer energy level, there are 5 electrons, just like the group number indicated. I'm going to draw 2 on the top and 3 around this outer edge here. So the Lewis dot structure for this element, Lewis dot structure. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the Lewis dot structure for this element would look something like this. In complex form and in simple form, which I will ask you to do on the test, it just shows the outer shell. What's that? What? So here is, this right here is the simple form, showing that nitrogen has 5 outer shell electrons. Okay, does that make sense there? So what I need to teach you now is about ion numbers. And I'm just going to draw a line across here. Ion numbers. So, let's see. Ion number, definition. Ion number, definition. So an ion number is the number of electrons, an atom of an element, the number of electrons, an atom of an element is likely to gain or lose in a chemical reaction. In a chemical reaction. The number of electrons an atom of an element is likely to gain or lose in a chemical reaction. So let's take a look here at the periodic table. Let's find a copy here. Look at your periodic table. Get your periodic table out. It doesn't really matter which one. Okay, so here's the periodic table, and let's find out some information here. Periodic table, of course, is organized very ingeniously. All of the elements in this family, the alkali family, all of these have one electron in the outer level. Lithium, for example, has one. And how many electrons this element gains can be figured out in realizing that it has an open spot right there for an atom to come into the first energy level. Tyler, couch now. So this element here could either get an electron or give up an electron to fill the outer energy level. It turns out that it's easier to get rid of this electron than it is to gain another one. So what lithium does to become an ion is it gives up this electron. So if it gives up a negative charge, what charge does it become? Good. So it becomes how many positive? Well, it gives up one electron, so it becomes +1. So the ion number of every element in group 1A is +1 because they give up one electron. How about group 2? Let's use magnesium as our example. They have 2 electrons in the outer level because it's in group 2A. It's easier to give up these 2 than it is to get how many more to make it 8? Well, 6. So it's easier to give up those 2. So here we go. We're going to give up those 2, and it becomes +2. Okay? Does that make sense? 3A, it becomes plus 3. Now, here's the catch. Right at carbon, carbon has 4 electrons in the outer level. It can get 4 or give 4, so it either becomes plus or minus 4 for the carbon group. I can't read that. What is this element here on your periodic table? Boron. Nitrogen is, listen, nitrogen has 5 electrons in the outer level, right? So it's easier to get 3 than it is to give away all these 5. So it gets 1 here, it gets 1 here, and it gets 1 here to make an 8 outer shell level. 8 electrons in the outer shell. So, well, actually not for nitrogen. Yeah, sorry. For nitrogen, 8 in the outer level. So the ion number of nitrogen then becomes, if it gets 3 negative electrons, becomes what? Negative 3. Is that oxygen there? So oxygen, negative 2. It gets 2 electrons to make an 8 outer shell. Fluorine gets 1 electron, so it becomes negative 1. And all of these, all the noble gases, they are 0 because they don't give electrons or get electrons. Okay? It's going to take some practice, and that's what we're going to do now.